Hey guys, it's me Chan Dragon and today I will do my Zhongli guide. I think it's been very a while or I never made any Zhongli guide. So I will just make a very short one because Zhongli also doesn't have so much changes honestly until like time to time. So yeah, I will cover like usual the artifacts, the talents, and constellation. Should you pull the weapon and something like that. So let's get started. So let's start first with the talent. So we have better understanding first about how to use Zhongli though, especially for the new player. Normal charge attack basically doesn't have any special gimmick, so we can just skip. And in here the elemental skill where the one of the main gimmick of Zhongli itself though. It's called Dominus Lepidus. It has two different effects. You can just choose to use press your elemental skill. It's basically very simple. It just summon the stone seller, or if you're familiar with another geo kind of character, it's just basically geo construct. And other one you can choose to press hold of your elemental skill. It basically with two different things. First, if you don't have any stone seller on your field, it automatically will summon the stone seller, and also it will create shield of jade though, or we call it jade shield in here. And this jade shield basically damage absorption scaling based on Zhongli max HP though, meaning that if you have more Zhongli max HP, that means the shield becomes stronger. And it'll also deal AoE extra geo damage, which is good. And furthermore, they explain about like what is the stone cell effect. It's basically just summon a pillar and dealing like AoE geo damage over period of time and generate particles, so it's kind of pretty nice additional of your damage and particle generation. And also the jade shield, also they explain what the effects. It's basically possess 100% 150% of damage absorption. And also the one that you really want to see, which is if your character protected by the jade shield, it will decrease the elemental resistance and physical resistance to your opponent in small AoE by 20% though. So that's why in here Zhongli shield, it's not just very strong, but it's also very good for kinda some of the buffing like capability, which is they will decrease the elemental resistance and physical resistance. So that's why Zhongli shields is one of the best in Genshin Impact. And for Zhongli elemental burst, it's called planet pivot. Basically Zhongli will deal like high demand geo damage and it also AoE, so it's kind of nuke type burst, and it also apply petrification to the enemy itself though. It's pretty much good for like crowd controlling if they move too much also, and it's also quite nice addition that it dealing high amount of damage, especially if you build your Zhongli as a burst type of damage in artifact sets. Yeah, it's pretty much kind of good, nice addition. And for the passive, basically the first one, resonant wave, it just like increase your shield damage by further. If you keep taking damage, nothing really you have to worry, it works automatically. And this one is basically dominance of earth. It's basically just state also further why max HP scaling is very important also, because it just increase everything in Zhongli damage, so just from normal charge attack, even the stone stella, also the burst increase based on like max HP though. That's why this is very important in Zhongli max HP though. It just buff everything also. And this one just refund 15% if you're crafting polearm. And now we'll move to the weapon section, and we will talk first about the 5-star weapon though. So the best 5-star weapon for Zhongli is Staff of Homa. I will explain later about the signature weapon, the Vortex Vanquisher, because Staff of Homa is just very good. It gives you critical damage. It's good for your Zhongli itself, especially in the burst, and also increase HP by 20% and provide additional attack bonus though. So it's pretty much good though. But other than that, yeah, Vortex Vanquisher is still pretty much good though. Just but it gives you attack subset. But I feel like Staff of Homa is kinda more flexible. You can equip another character and give you critical damage. Critical damage is more rare than attack percentage. That's why it feels better though for you though to have Staff of Homa. But other than that, the effect is still pretty good. Increase a shield by 20% and provide some attack bonus to your Zhongli itself though. And for the 4-star weapon for Zhongli, it's basically very depends on which build you want to go. If you want to go for offensive build, meaning you want to make the burst getting stronger, then the best one is Deathmatch, just because it gives you critical rate, and the effect is also good. It increase your attack and defense, so it's pretty much good in overall of your Zhongli damage. And other than that, if you just want to focus on support type or just like care about the shield, then you can go for the new weapon. It calls Rightful Reward. It just released in Fontaine because the subject give you HP percentage. The effect's not so great because the effect only work if you get healed, and it will restore 8 energy. I guess it's good if you maybe pair, let's say, kind of Shincho, and you kind of decide to heal in your Zhongli, maybe you will restore energy. That's pretty much good, but we kind of only want to highlight because the HP percentage though. So the Rightful Reward is pretty good also for support. But other than that, we can use the 3-star weapon, which is Black Tassel. It's pretty good in overall just because it just gives you HP percentage, and yeah, the effect we can just ignore though. In addition, actually, Fafanius bow still okay for Zhongli, especially if you need more energy recharge for your team. This is actually still pretty much good weapon for Zhongli. And for the artifact sets, basically in general, people mostly use is Tenacity of Millilith because overall it's kind of feel general. It's just good in overall like use. Even you want to make offensive or just defensive, it's pretty much good. Just because two piece give you HP by 20% increase, which is good, and four piece is basically good for your supporting character. It's not only for your Zhongli itself, but entire party. If you elemental skill hits the opponent, increase your attack to your all party member by 20%, and also shield strength becomes stronger also. So it's pretty good for offensive and defensive utility and even support in the same time though. So that's why in general it's pretty much good. But other than that, if you don't have 4 piece of Tenacity of Millilith, you can choose another like 2 piece variation. But it's actually very depends which one that you'll prioritize though. If you want to prioritize first in the defensive or just care about the shield, you can try the combination which is 2 piece of Tenacity of Millilith and 2 piece of Forecast Glow because it gives you another HP 20%, so you get like total 40% of your HP increase though, which is pretty much good though. But if you decide to become more offensive, you can choose for 2 piece of Petra and 2 piece of Noblesse Oblige because it's basically just increase geo damage and increase your burst by further though. Other than that, you can, if you feel like you just want to be balanced, you can just combination between either of two from the Petra, Noblesse, Forecast Glow, or even the Tenacity though, like the combination from all of them. On some of very niche use, some of people will use 4 piece of Emblem Cypher Fate. Yeah, if you just care about Entomers, then sure, but I don't really recommend. And for energy recharge for Zhongli, basically Zhongli doesn't need any energy recharge if you only care about the shield. But if you want to kind of keep doing the burst, then the good number about Zhongli energy recharge is around 130% to 150%. It's actually very depends on your team itself. So yeah, around 130 to 150, it's already good spot though. For the artifact mindset for Zhongli, it's also again very depends in which one that you want to prioritize for your Zhongli itself though. So if you decide to become more like only care about defensive or just like about shield itself, then for sure everything is just like HP though. In here HP, the goblet HP, even in here the sense is also HP though, and even the circuit also HP. But if you decide to took a little bit like offensive type, then of course you make like balance between HP and critical rate and damage though. So for in here sense still HP, but for the goblet you can either choose the one like geo damage bonus or HP. And for the circlet, it's actually depends is which one that you want though. If you want need more crit rate, then go for crit rate. If you need more crit damage, then go for crit damage. And for Jolly subset, basically you only want to prioritize HP or HP percentage. And other than that, if you want to make offensive, of course you can prioritize crit rate, crit damage, and also energy recharge or even attack percentage. And for the constellation recombination, let's discuss one by one. Basically, C1, we can summon our Constella become 2 because before we can only summon 1, now we can summon 2 in the same time. It's basically good for additional damage and more like energy particle regeneration though. So for C2, it's basically after you use the burst, we can get our Jade Shield right away and it apply to all the party member, including co-op though. Because before, if we don't have any C2, we cannot give shield to your friends in co-op, but if you already have C2 you can give shield to your friends because after you use burst it will apply to everyone including like your friends in co-op. C3 just increase the level of your skill, and C4 is basically make your elemental burst AoE become bigger by 20% and also make the petrification increase by 2 seconds. It's just okay. And then this one increase the burst damage, and this the last one is basically if you have your shield on some period of time you will regenerate your HP though. So basically you have shield and you also heal if you're getting hit. Basically makes your Zhongli and your entire party is kind of immortal. But take note, this one is not really good for Hu Tao itself because you will eventually kind of heal yourself and your Hu Tao will get more HP. So that means sometimes in some of certain period it will kind of disadvantage for your Hu Tao though. So take note, if you have Hu Tao and if you main her, then don't get C6 Zhongli itself though. So in overall, what is the best constellation for Zhongli itself? Basically, in overall, I would say it's very depends on what you want. Mostly Zhongli constellation is only revolving around like quality of life. I think the best quality of life is C2 because after you use burst you will get like shield right away, and then after that your friends finally can get Zhongli shield. But other than that, it's like whatever for me for Zhongli constellation. But for of course you really want immortal, then just go for C6. But my really recommendation if you care about quality of life is C2. But if you ask me, should you get the weapon or the constellation? Well, it's actually very depends on you. I'm very neutral about this. If you just care to increase about your like shield and damage in the same time, of course, just go for the weapon, which is Tapu Foma. I already said, not the Vortex Vanquisher. But if you care about more like about just the shield itself, I think go for C2 is good because it will improve your quality of life. You will get more shield after you use burst though. But reminder again, I say Zhongli at Z0 already fully functional, even without weapon. Any constellation Zhongli already very great though. And for Zhongli team comp, basically Zhongli you can just put in every single team that if you feel you need any resistant interruption or you need shield. But I guess there's some of the team where I find like Zhongli have like like certain amount of contribution that really impactful. And not all of them is meta okay because some of them only for fun team, but at least it can works with Zhongli itself. Which is first one is Hu Tao in double hydro, which is pretty much you really know need Zhongli. Not only Hu Tao double hydro, but any Hu Tao team Zhongli is actually best friend for Hu Tao. So you can put like Hu Tao, Zhongli, Yelan, or even Albedo in here and Xinqiu at the last. And also in Xiao, actually Zhongli really helpful for your shield if you don't want to use Bennett. So Xiao, Zhongli, Farzan, and you can even put also Albedo if you want or Bennett, something like that variation. And another one you can play in Jolly Hyperbloom. Basically, your Zhongli become on fielder in here, so your Zhongli, Nahida apply the Dendro, and Candice in here will give the Hydro applier to your Zhongli, and Raiden Shogun Elemental skill will can trigger right the Electrode, and you can just basically deal like on-field Zhongli Hyperbloom. Yeah, it can work if you want for fun. And other than that, Ganyu in Melt, basically Zhongli also very good friend with Ganyu in Ganyu Melt just because Ganyu need charge time, right? So because Zhongli provide like resistant interruption, it's very convenient for you to keep doing melt with your Ganyu. So Ganyu, Zhongli, Nahida. If you don't want Nahida, you can put Shangli in here, and if you don't want Shangli, you can put Bennett though. And yeah, that's pretty much that's it. You can try for your Zhongli though. And if you like this kind of video, feel free to hit the subscribe button and like, and I will see you next time though. Sorry, I will not put any Spiral Abyss run just because Zhongli is basically can just put in every single team.